Spurs dominate Crypto.com arena 136-108 from start to finish. They scored 47 points in the first quarter, 84 points in the first half, and they win big. And when I say big, well, we're talking Victor Wembanyama and Steph Castle. You know, Steph Castle had that 40-point triple-double last game. Well, only fitting in Tinseltown. For an encore, we get Victor Wembanyama with 40 points. Spurs first back-to-back 40-point scorers since March of 1984. Of course, Jacob was not born then. He did not see that. In fact, Sean was not in the NBA yet. That's how long ago this happened. And Victor Wembanyama, guys, I mean, we talk about all the amazing accolades, but this one stands out. More 40-point games in the regular season than Tim Duncan in just, what, 2.5 seasons with the San Antonio Spurs. Just an amazing accomplishment for Vic.
I was alive for some of those 40-pointers from Timmy. I'll try to stand up for myself there, but yeah, we get it. You know, I'm on the younger side. But I was here for Victor's 40-point game. I mean, wow, total domination, world domination.
Yeah, and if this game had been closer, he would have been on the floor a lot longer. And now we're talking about a 50 spot. So, you know, he just came out really with a lot of energy, a lot of aggression early on. And I just really loved and really respected the way he started off this ball game. Was really aggressive, going at the Lakers early on, wasn't deferring anybody, was demonstrative with his drives. Nice little catch there. How about this? Just overwhelming the defense. Held it out there where no one could get to it. Beautiful throw down, gets both his feet underneath him on that. Little short shot along the baseline. The three-point ball was falling. You talk about 40-point games in Spurs history. In only 156 games, not even 2 full seasons.
Yeah, pretty remarkable for Victor Wembanyama, and again gets to rest in the fourth quarter, something he didn't get to do in that Dallas game because they had to come back for a little bit in that fourth quarter there.
Right, so we'd like to see a repeat of that tomorrow night, and we know the Warriors are beaten up a little bit. You know, 2 of your top guys are out. If our guys come with the same type of mindset that they brought early on, it could be a repeat. But again, I'd like to see that aggressive play from Victor. We don't know what's going to happen with Steph Castle, but we had other guys that stepped up and played well. Devin Vassell, Dylan Harper was good, De'Aaron Fox, Carter Bryant has his career high, and so just a good overall effort, and you got a lot of rest for your starters.
And when you become a great team from good to great, you don't mess around on nights like this. You take care of business, you move on to the next night. So maybe this team is taking that next step. There's obviously a lot of time left in the season, but who knows, maybe they are.
I mean, that's what championship teams do. I mean, if you are really building toward winning a championship, then you come into games like this tonight, you don't care who's in front of you. It's about getting better, steamrolling the opposition when you have the opportunity.
It was a forceful night for the Spurs here in La La Land. They get the job done in a big way. Keldon Johnson was forceful, hurting the rim for the Spurs off the bench again. He had 6 points tonight. More Spurs Live postgame coming up after the break.
And for the Spurs, we showed you in the previous segment that Stephon Castle had that 40-point triple-double last time out, but it was a scary moment in this one in the second half when Steph Castle, hustling back on defense, did get hurt. Check it out here. The block on Rui Hachimura and lands hard. You see him as he goes down. Had to be helped off the court, stayed down for a while. You see Keldon Johnson helping him to the locker room. Did not return in a game. And when we get an update on Steph Castle, of course, your reigning Rookie of the Year and your reigning Western Conference Player of the Year, let you know about his status for tomorrow's game against the Golden State Warriors. Well, we said his 40, 12, and 12. How about Victor Wembanyama, what he was able to do again tonight? 25 points in that first quarter, 17 consecutive points, and his 6th career 40-point game. Here is Victor Wembanyama.
Like your team level of focus and execution pretty much from the get-go.
Loved it. I think playing against quote-unquote bad teams or teams missing players has been our problem. Consistency. I think every time or almost every time we've been ready against like the top seeds. And our record against them shows it. but we've also been bad against below .500 teams. And, I mean, tonight, in my opinion, we had to make a statement and show our progress. Progress, right? All right.
Hey, you studied with Shaolin monks in China this summer. How has mindfulness practice affected you as a basketball player and also just as a person?
It's been a really interesting experience because, I mean, one of the main factors was people don't speak English over there or French, obviously. So, what I could understand from their teachings was really I had to really interpret that, and no, I mean it's helped me a lot. It's helped me a lot, especially in a year 2025 where I had to grow a lot and reflect on myself. So that was helpful in that way.
It's not very often we see 25 points by somebody in a quarter. What got you rolling, and what's that feeling like when you're in that kind of groove?
It feels right. What got me going is honestly proving myself a point, proving my team a point. Because I'm not, as I said before, I'm not worried about us. I'm not worried about me against good teams. But, shit, I mean, history has showed that I need to be worried about us against teams like this. So, yeah, I mean, we don't just talk about what we need to do. We need to actually act.
Obviously, Mitch is one game away from coaching his first All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
Since he assumed this role, whether you want to say at the beginning of last season or, officially this season, what have you seen from him just as a leader, as a basketball mind, and how has he kind of helped you this season especially?
I think he's always been really on point with what he tells us, Obviously, as a coach, you haven't got 2-3 minutes in the timeout or less than that, to explain. So you got to go straight to the point. And I think he's been really efficient in that way. I think he doesn't talk for nothing, That's a great quality. And he's had this almost from day one. So that forces respect. And, I mean, results show that he deserves to be the All-Star coach. And because not only results, but also managing all this coaching staff and this team, it's a lot.
Vic, you had that's the second fewest minutes we've seen a player have a 40-10 game. You had 40-12. But I'm curious, when you're rolling like that, do you want to stay in the game longer to continue to step on the other team's neck and also to see where you can push your own limits of what you can do, where you can get to? Or is this the sort of game where minutes restriction, you don't mind it because it's a blowout?
I don't mind both ways. Of course, I'm ready to go back on the court. I mean, I was also pushing to go back, but, I mean, they did the right choice by keeping me on the bench. We got to think long term. But, yeah, I mean, this kind of games, you got to have, the greed. I mean, every game, you have to have this greed, to want more every time. Because, at all times, it doesn't matter who's on the court. There's somebody who's going to want to stop you from doing what you do out there. So you got to be greedy.
Well, greed is good for Victor Wembanyama, passing Manu Ginobili for the most 30-point games and passing Tim Duncan for the most 40-point games in Spurs history. Another indication of history in the making. 130 points in 3 consecutive games. Last Spurs team to do that, 1978. So ties a franchise record again. 3 consecutive games of 130 points or more. So again, back-to-back games, 40 points for Steph Castle and Victor Wembanyama. Last time we saw that, 1984. And as we've mentioned several times on the program tonight, Victor Wembanyama passing Tim Duncan for the most 40-point games in franchise history. Here's Mitch Johnson on his team rolling as we head into the All-Star break soon.
Guys, talked a lot this year about sometimes when you play a team that's undermanned like that, maybe the focus isn't where you want it to be. Is it fair to say you did not have that problem tonight?
I thought we started the game with the right amount of focus for sure.
What's it like for you to see Wemby in the kind of groove that he was in the first quarter especially, but really the first half?
I thought his anticipation and aggressiveness on defense, and then also some of his intentional moves offensively. I say intentional just because I think there are times even when physicality can be used in the wrong term with him. And I think we're continuing to learn how he and our physicality works at best for our advantages. And I thought he did a really good job of finding angles and using his momentum on the move and trying to get to the basket. And he had some free throw attempts, and he just was collapsing the defense quite a bit. And I thought that really set a tone.
Mitch, with this team, you didn't make any trades. You got the same kind of guys, like they're healthy. How do you feel like that lineup continuity helps in a game like this where you can just, see your best player put it away so early?
I think we've had, as a number of teams had, but quite a bit of people out throughout the year, obviously, in terms of availability. And so just being able to get some consistent time together will be helpful. We don't have time in the past because it's really this team's first journey together. So all the on the court, on the job training is important.
Obviously that comes with Stephon getting hurt the way that he did, but have you seen a progression of your team just in this season ever since everybody got back together? I guess Devin was the last guy that had to get back from a long-term injury.
Yeah, when you have main guys out who are going to be high usage or big puzzle pieces, that's a lot to make up for when they're out. It also means when you bring them back, there's less of the pie to go around. And so that's a good thing when you get everybody because your team's better, but it is an adjustment because there's just less shots and minutes and opportunities. And so it's good just to continue to feel that and have everybody get into the groove together.
No, it's crazy to say considering his numbers overall this year, but it seems like Victor's actually hitting a rhythm and a stride now that he's just been healthy for a while. I feel like we've checked in like every month about his kind of like offensive repertoire and how it's getting closer to where you kind of want to see it. How do you feel like tonight, between the free throw drawing, the shooting, and all of that, just kind of represented the ideal offensive repertoire from him?
Yeah, I think, the two areas where he is pretty hard to give resistance is when he has space or momentum. And so there's things that he can do better. There's things that we can do better game plan wise and just things to learn. But I thought tonight he did really well in both those cases. And sometimes that's also, the other four guys on the court and what they're doing to create advantages. Or that can be him screening at the start of a possession to get his teammate advantage, and then the ball will find him as the possession continues to progress. But I thought we did a good job tonight of playing clean offensive basketball, and he found himself in space a few times and also with momentum towards the basket.
So the Spurs take care of business. They now have a record of 11-5 against the top 6 teams in the Western Conference. Up next, the Golden State Warriors. That game is tomorrow in San Francisco. 8:30 tip. Victor Wembanyama, who had 40 points tonight, looking for an encore, just like we saw Steph Castle with 40, 12, and 12 last time out. Again, our coverage starts in the FanDuel Sports Network with Spurs Live at 8 o'clock tomorrow, 8:30 tomorrow. So there you have it, 8:30, our pregame show, Spurs Live on the FanDuel Sports Network, followed by the action. Victor Wembanyama making history tonight for the San Antonio Spurs. 17 consecutive points in the first quarter, 25 in the first quarter, 37 in the first half, and 40 for the game. Now more 40-point games than Tim Duncan in Spurs history. San Antonio looking to continue to roll 130 points or more in 3 consecutive games. They look to keep that going against the Golden State Warriors tomorrow.